Hello everyone, what a timing! Welcome to the third episode of Rehash Segments with elisays. Quick reminder, any reviews made via this channel is truly based on matter of personal perspectives. Warning because major spoilers are coming through. Let me be honest with you. I don't know much about Eurovision and before story of Fire Saga since I'm from an Asian country, hence not much of a coverage for this contest. I was attracted to watching the movie when I came across the trailer on Netflix. Usually I don't really enjoy Will Ferrell's kind of comedy, but I caught my eyes on Rachel McAdams since she's my favorite. And plus, there's Graham Norton, so that is bonus. I figured that would be a good watch. That was literally my first standpoint for the movie. I never imagined myself laughing to this type of comedy. Like normal comedy genres, this one has this kind of cliche storyline, but fortunately it got backed up with an amazing list of cast, cameos, and soundtracks. Hence, the movie managed to bring up an interesting introduction for people like me who knew less about it to the world of Eurovision Song Contest, the greatest annual entertainment ceremony of all time celebrated by European countries and others that participates. The song inside that contest is legit. I started to develop an interest in listening to some of the performances on random years, mostly the winning songs. That left me speechless and I'm completely blown away. Some of my favorites like Duncan Lawrence, Alexander Rybak, and Loreen. Their performances were epic. Recently, I was brought to a performance by Little Big from Russia. They embrace camp essence quite well. Uniquely weird, but somehow has that catchy 70s viral vibe that easily stuck in people's head. Especially mine, of course. But unfortunate news came out for this year's contestants. ESC got cancelled due to the current pandemic and restrictions all over the world. Hopefully next year situations got better and this contest can continue as it is. For now, let's us all just stay at home and stay safe. In continuation to how I get caught up with ESC in the first place, the story of Fire Saga, I personally am not familiar with how the real Eurovision takes place, probably a different kind of uptick from Will Ferrell and the team on this movie to match with the comedic team, but at the same time I wanted to emphasize the seriousness or how important it is a Eurovision Song Contest to them. Hence, I don't see the issues of how different the movie is as compared to the real ones. I enjoyed them both, and it managed to bring me up to the notion of the whole ideas at some point. Okay, the story of Fire Saga. This is about these two Icelandic, Lars and Sigrid, who's been best friends since they were kids. They both share the same passion towards Eurovision Song Contest as they grew up together watching it. Lars has this one and only dream, to win the Eurovision Song Contest. Despite of this two keep on being laughed at with their ideas to enter the contest, especially by Lars' James Bond father, Eric, and some of the people in their communities of course, they still determined to pursue that dream of theirs by entering Song Contest, the Icelandic pre-selection for the ESC. Their performance there was really a disaster with all the nervousness going on since they perform on a public and pressure to prove to people that they're not a laughing stock. But with this, I don't think they stand a chance. Hence, this goes to the powerful vocalist Katjana, who takes on the spot to be Iceland's rep for the Eurovision as she wins the song's Verkeppnin. I figure since this is a movie highlighting them both, Lars and Sigrid, the luck resides on the Fire Saga. The boat where all the other contestants are having a party, including Katjana, explodes, killing everyone on board, leaving the only surviving contestants, the Fire Saga, to represent Iceland for ESC 2020. Pretty much with all the comedies skeptical of sending them as rep, but they don't have a choice, do they? After hearing the news, Sigrid, who believed in old folk stories on elves, asked the elves to help them prepare for the contest. I'm not sure about current Icelanders though, whether they still believe it or not. Lars and Sigrid then arrive in Edinburgh, Scotland for the contest. They of course, as a novice, are struggling with songs arrangements, stage designs to accommodate them for the contest. Alexander Lemtov from Russia, one of the favorites, invites them to a party at his house, attended by numbers of real former ESC's contestants like Bilal Hassani, Loreen, John Lundvik, Jamala, Alexander Rybak, Neta Barzilay, and Conchita Wurst. the song along. This is one of my favorite scenes of the movies.
Meanwhile,
Tension within Fire Saga starts building up, derailing them from their actual plans for semifinals. Days passed and things starts to get better before the semis. They kick off with their song Double Trouble quite well until an accident involving a giant hamster wheel ruined their performance on that night. Shockingly, they managed to recover and finish their songs. There are mixed reactions coming from the audience. Lars, who was devastated by the outcome, leave Sigrid behind without knowing that their final salvage managed to get them voted for finals. Returning to Husavik, Lars has a one-on-one talk with his father about not supporting his dreams and his relationship with Sigrid. Both of them reconciled, and his father asked him to return and continue his performance.
meanwhile,
On his way back, Viktor Carlsson, governor of the Central Bank of Iceland and one of the Icelandic organizational team members, attempts to murder Lars and reveals he's the culprit of the boat incidents at Songvakeppnin. Iceland is bankrupt and cannot afford to host Eurovision the following year if Fire Saga wins. Luck resides with him again when an unseen elf saves Lars by killing Viktor. Aware that he's running out of time to catch up for the grand final, Lars hitchhiked with some initially unwilling American tourists.
a few moments later.
Instead of their official entry, Lars and Sigrid perform the song she wrote for him, Husavik, even though they know it very well that they're gonna be disqualified for changing their songs. Okay, this is Eurovision rules. They cannot change their entry songs, they have to stick with it up to the finals. Their friends and families are all touched, discovering that the song is an ode to their hometown with some lyrics in Icelandic and a stunning finale with Sigrid reaching that magical spirit note and a little hat from elves, of course. Eric watched the contest proudly with Sigrid's mother, Helga. They both returned to their hometown, Husavik, greeted with a hero's welcome by the people. This story tells a lot about these two characters, how their dreams, beliefs, determination, and perseverance brought them together, realizing it and made their country and the world proud. Minus the boat incidents, of course. And the ghost, kind of absurd, but since it is a comedy, so overall acceptable, amusing, and gratifying. Eurovision Song Contest is a tradition for all Europeans, an entertainment event that keeps them entertained where European countries gather along to celebrate the love for music, culture and diversity since the 50s with the purpose of bringing the Europeans together after the trauma of World War II. Countries competing in the grand final, each presenting their own original written songs to win the hearts and the votes from the judges and audience. Traditionally, 6 countries are automatically pre-qualified for the grand final, the so-called Big Five: France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and United Kingdom. And the host country. These 5 countries are automatically guaranteed a place in the Eurovision final as they are the 5 biggest financial contributors to the European Broadcasting Union, while the other remaining countries will take part in one of the 2 semifinals. So that's all for today's brief review. I posted on this before, but the video got copyrighted claims, so I have to have it redone. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more contents like this. Till we meet again. Ciao.